Hey everybody, welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan. Hey, we're making headway. We're making headway this year. We got all phenomenal guests coming on from the north, south, east, and west. They are letting people know their stories, telling their testimonies, telling people how they're making it happen for others and for themselves. I got with me a lady here who's making it happen for her family and others, Miss Danielle Richardson. How you doing?
Hello, thank you.
How's everything?
Everything is wonderful.
Thank you for coming to the show.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Hey, she has a great book, God Heard My Cries, The Deliverance. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a book you want to have in your collection. Her information is on the screen. Contact her today. But Danielle, I thank you again for this book. She got us one for myself personally, and we have 3 here at the Logan Power Show available to anybody who would like to get this book. Contact us today. Hey, come on to the show so we can get you a book for you to put into your library, because Danielle is a giver. So Danielle, how's your year been?
It's been wonderful. I've been speaking all over the place, making a lot of headways, and being in the fight for domestic violence is just something powerful, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Got you. Thank you so much. Now, the thing about what you told me about your testimony, you sent me like information about you, which touched my heart, and I felt for you, and shows how much faith you have. Take us through the situation that happened with your mother led up to her death.
Okay, well, my mom, she died from domestic violence. Her name was Danielle Richardson, in downtown Charleston, back in June 18th in 1991. But with the situations with that, because for me and my brothers and my mom, we grew up into a domestic violence household, and from the time maybe I was 4 up until the time I was 16. And at that point, she had a boyfriend that was maybe about 10 years older than her, and you know, he was very controlling and possessive. And so that always led with a lot of frictions that was going on in the house, and ultimately, you know, they always fought, physically fought. You know, it was a lot of verbal and mental abuse that was there in the household, and it got just worse up until the point of June 18th in the middle of the night. There was this really big fight that just got out of control because he came in from a party and was drunk and on high on drugs and things like that, and you know, the argument just led from one thing to the next, and he ended up stabbing her approximately about 37 times. Me and my brothers, we was there, you know, trying to help break up the fight and things like that, but subsequently she died, you know, because of the wounds.
Wow. Now, for those that understand 37 times, that's like unthinkable. And it, you know, you tell it like, you know, you have a strong faith about you. You can just tell that you've seen a lot at such an age in your life. How old were you when your mother passed away, if you don't mind me asking?
I was 16.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw a lot, been through a lot, and one thing, like I always tell people, you know, one thing I didn't give up on, and that was faith. And my mom always taught us how to pray, and this, when you're scared, you know, you recite your 23rd Psalm, and just keep God in mind that, you know, He will hear your cries. And that's why my book is titled God Heard My Cries, because I was crying a long, a long time, and eventually He heard me and was able to come and rescue me from all the pain and suffering that I'm going through. So it makes it much easier for me to be able to speak and talk about our tragedies that growing up and the tragedies of our adulthood. So I think, and I feel, in which I have, my testimony has really touched a lot of other people. So when I see that a family is getting stronger because of what my testimony is, or a parent was able to get up and say this is not a healthy relationship, I don't want my kids to go through what Danielle and her brothers went through in life or whatever like that. I want to get up and I want to leave or seek help. When I see those type of things, or I get that reaction from people saying that, hey, your book or your testimony got me to this point where I'm at today. I just feel happy. I'm proud.
Yes, this book here, God Heard My Cries, The Deliverance. And this is the deliverance book that you've written based off your experience and your pain and suffering. So I know for me, it's kind of ironic you be on here. I went through domestic violence home myself with my parents. You know, thank God I didn't get to that level. You know, I thank God in my marriage, it never got to that level, going that intensified. I know it can any marriage, any relationship can get to that level if there's no control to the point that you catch yourself. You got to catch yourself.
Self-control.
Self-control. And for those out there that have experienced domestic violence, or you have a family member, let us know. We want you to get in contact with Danielle so you can get her book. For the first 3 that reach out to us, we will give you this book more than happily. We don't have no problems giving into your life. Definitely let us know. For instance, for those who want to sow into Danielle's life in regards to this book, you're more than happy to do so. That's how she keeps it going. So we want you to support her on what she's doing, because she's making a lot happens for men and women. And I think it's what a lot of people don't understand. Domestic violence is a two-way street. So for me, I want you the kind of feedback that you receive from the book. What kind of feedback have you gotten from this book?
Oh man, I've gotten wonderful feedback off my book. I have a lot of people, from women to men, and even children. In fact, I had recently a teenager, young guy, just came up to me one day and it's like, "Hey, you Danielle?" And I was like, "Yes." So I read your book. Your book made me cry, but guess what? I changed my life for the better, because now I know, what to do from what not to do in my relationship. And he was a teenager, going through domestic violence in a relationship at the age of 15, 16 years old. So that was just a very powerful move for me. And it's like, okay, I got to keep going, because when I originally wrote the book, it was more of a therapeutic thing for me. I wanted the people to see and realize that these things is happening and it's true and it is consequences. And for me, it was more about the forgiveness, forgiving my past, forgiving my mom's boyfriend for doing what he did, and so I can be able to move on. But so many people got so many different things from it that is overwhelming. It's joyful.
Well, you see, she has a joyful spirit. For those who've already read Danielle's book, who's watching this show, please let us know what your feedback is from it. We like to know, because we're going to read it ourselves, because we want to be a part of this great movement. For those who, once again, like I said, if you experienced domestic violence, you know anybody, let us know. Let's make it happen. Let's make those people aware so that we get you to the right help for the person that's the victim and for the person that's giving the abuse.
Yeah, exactly.
Both people need to have help. Contact us ASAP so we can get you the help we need, point you to the right people. Trust me, we don't want situations that happen to Danielle and others to happen now. Well, let's stop this from happening. So Danielle, being a domestic violence advocate, has it empowered you to not allow what happened to your mother happen to other people?
Yes. In fact, I'm a certified victim advocate, and what my mission is, God-given, and it's for me to be able to reach as many people out there as possible that, hey, if you're going through this situation, let somebody know. And, I'm here. And I work with many others that are domestic violence or regular victim advocates that, we are standing in the gap for you. Because, it's a lot of times, like for me, I like to reach the people who feel like they're unreachable. Because there are a lot of times, like, especially in South Carolina, there are not really a lot of help for domestic violence victims. There are shelters that you can go into, but, you stay for a certain amount of time. They help you while you're there, and there are minimum resources, after you leave. So that scares a lot of times the victims, like, okay, well, we can't go and get help. But actually, there is a lot of help. Like for me, I do a lot of individual work, and I work a lot on one-on-one with victims to make sure that they have ways of means of finding a new job, finding a new apartment, getting new transportation, different things that will be able to help them get better so that they won't go back into the same situation that they just left out of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So those out there, like I said again, you need to get in contact with Danielle. She's an advocate. She's certified. So I'm telling you, the Logan Power Show is not going to put you in a situation that you're not going to get the kind of help. Now, talk to me about your vision, the Purple Magnolia Family Center. What is that about?
Yes, that's one of my dreams for such a long time, and I'm working on the goal of trying to be able to get that. The Purple Magnolia Foundation Center started for me as a vision of, I want a family center where you can go to and your family be at peace. Because like there are a lot of times like you want to be able to go and do things with your family, and you want resources to help you go through your family situations without having like this government control over it. Or you thinking like, well, if I go and ask this person for help for my child or for me, what will be the consequences? Like sometimes you walk into the government offices and you like, well, I need help with this, but then it becomes like a backlash against you because like, okay, well, you're not a fit parent, or you're not this, or you're not that. I want to take that stereotype away from the aspect. I want people to be able to feel comfortable that, hey, if I need help with this situation, I can be able to walk into a center and say, hey, my name is so-and-so, I need help. Can you help me get these resources for my children without somebody judging them or looking bad down to them like, okay, I was in a domestic violence issue. It's not my fault, because a lot of times victims they blame themselves, or sometimes even the justice system, they're like, well, it's your fault that you were this way or that it was in this situation because you allowed this to happen for so long. I don't want people to be like that. I want them to be able to come in and say, hey, we got a mother lounge where you can be able to sit down and and get a peace of mind and relax. So sometimes juggling with children, school, and work, you just don't have that space and time. But you can come here into the center, you can have your space. We have something to do for the children, and even with the fathers. I want something for, in the center where the men can be able to be men and be able to unwind and not sometimes be stressed, because a lot of times men be stressed, they come home and they domestic violence occur because they're stressed at work, trying to make sure the bills are paid, the house things are done, got to do things with the children, and trying to spend time with the wife, and a lot of times it gets a lot of frustrated in where the economic system is at now. Sometimes it's hard for jobs, and I want to be able to have all these connections that's there. They can come in while the other family on one side, they on one side doing what they doing to be able to help themselves. So I want to do anything that's possible to be able to help families become together and be together as one, because it's all about family. Like for me, our family growing up, even though we had a lot of bad tragedies, and even in the event of my mom's death, at the end of the day, we were still a family. We had mother, we had father, the children was in the household, and we did a lot of family things together. And a lot of times I look back and the good sometimes can outweigh the bad, even though we had a murder in the end result of it. But I want to see more people have that family atmosphere back, and it's not everything's always broken. Like sometimes you get in there and you can find the help quick enough and soon enough, you can be able to fix and mend things. And I'd rather see a lot of families instead of, seeing a lot of kids walking around with fatherless or motherless or sometimes both without a parent.
You know what? I think for her, she's on to something. The Purple Magnolia Family Center, I'm willing. We're the Logan Power Show are willing to go to bat for her and telling you to support her. I believe what she's talking about is a healing ministry. Yes. I think a lot of times, hey, you look at me and you say, Cal, you look smooth. I've been on WIC before. I was a senior in college, was married, young man. I was making $7 an hour. I can't afford living big time. I was on WIC. I got no shame in the game. My wife was pregnant. I was a senior. I was in the military. You know, what I made qualified for poor living conditions. I make a lot. I did no shame. When my daughter was about to be born, I think I was still making $10 an hour. $10 an hour ain't gonna make a lot to take care of no family now. Not no house living, and you know, you gotta think about health insurance. You gotta wait so long. I didn't get my breakthrough until she was born, and I was lucky to get insurance on day one. So for those that are out there, you know, that are going through this government assistance, you know, food stamps, you know, WIC, been on food stamps, you know, oh goodness, low income, not making enough. Hey, your turn, your change will come.
Yes, it will.
Please don't judge somebody else right now, ladies and gentlemen, thinking like, well, you're on government system. You don't know the person's situation. Please don't judge. Look, test me. I've been there, came off of it. I didn't last on it long, but hey, I didn't make enough. I'll be honest with you, did not make enough. You know, I can tell somebody I don't have, at the time, you know, I want to be a billionaire. That's my goal. But I don't have it right now. If I had those experiences, then, you know, I could probably go forward in certain things. I'm working hard now. The Logan Power Show is a dream. We go by you, the people, investing in us. If you want to invest in us, hey, we'll take it all day long. But that's what we are. So we want you all to love one another. Don't judge nobody. You don't know nobody's circumstance. Final thing, because I know you're blessing us. Where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years?
Wow. Well, what I see myself at in the next 3 to 5 years, doing more speaking, more workshop, going into big businesses, letting them and training them on domestic violence. I see myself being in one of the front leaders, you know, still fighting the South Carolina state to change the domestic violence laws and making sure that the laws protect the victims and not just, you know, make them feel like they're cornered or they're trapped, that they can really feel safe. And when I call 911 because I'm, you know, being abused, that I'm going to get the proper help that person needs. And also, I want to be able to, hopefully in the next 5 years, to have open my center, you know, and open it up so that where people can come in and, you know, we can get the Southern hospitality back in, you know, the Southern charm back in the state of South Carolina. So we want to turn on the news and say that it's like we got 22 or 46 or, you know, 50 women and children and men dying from domestic violence.
Hey, you're on to something. We appreciate you again. Hey, everybody, we want you to support Danielle. Make sure you definitely support her. Her information is on the screen. Give her a call today. This will be a great year for her. We know that we hear the Logan Power Show. Love what she's doing. For all those out there, contact us, support us, Facebook, Twitter. Email us, theloganpowershow@gmail.com. Call us at 843-697-5545. Text us. We want to hear your story. My name is Calvin Lowe, the Logan Power Show. You have a great week.